In the past, making selections in Photoshop has been kind of a tedious process. Working with the pen tool is something that I've done a number of times, working with some of the selections inside of Photoshop. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Today we're going to take a look at Topaz Labs' product called Mask AI, and I'll just give you a quick look at how that can help you cut something out, make a mask that you can then use to replace a background or do something else with the result of your image. Hi, my name is William Beem. I am a photographer just like you. Why don't we go ahead and get started? All right, so I've got a portrait of a woman here, and I just want to cut her out. And one of the reasons I chose this photo is because of the difference in the background. Even though it's kind of in, there's a lot of bokeh, it's blurry back there. There's some different colors and different shades and tones going on. And those are the kind of things that will occasionally give problems to automatic selection tools. So what we can do is we can come over here to Filter, go down to Topaz Labs, and I'm going to select Topaz Mask AI. And it just lets me know, this is a little warning from Photoshop. It loads up the program. This will run standalone. It'll run as a plugin for Lightroom and also for Photoshop. By default, you're going to see this little green area. And you see that I've got my cursor here. I can just kind of move the bracket keys to make that larger or smaller like you would a brush in Photoshop. And there are three colors that you need to worry about. Anything green is going to be included in the mask. Anything red, let me pull this open, is going to be excluded. So that's why it's got the little minus sign there. This blue brush is what you use to do your edge detection. So that way, that's where the real power of masking is. It's pretty easy to brush inside here and, make her green and make the outside red. It's the edges that are really tricky when you get to dealing with masking. That's what masking is really all about. But the nice part of Topaz Mask AI is that it has a couple of automatic tools, one for selecting a subject and one for selecting a sky. We're going to take a look at both of those. So in this case, I'm going to say subject, and it's going to go ahead, it's going to see if it can find our subject and then create this mask. And it does exactly what I said. So anything in the red over here is going to say, I don't want this, that's excluded. Anything in the green is specifically included. And the blue along the edge, that's where the AI is going to go through and detect what is and what is not going to be included in your mask. So quite honestly, this is nice and fast and easy. You can just go over here to select a subject or select a sky, and then you can come down here to your mask mode. Typically, I leave it at all. Translucent is in case maybe you have some see-through kind of cloth that you want to be able to mask out. And contrast is going to be looking obviously at different tonal ranges, but I just leave it at all, and I'll say compute mask. And depending upon the power of your computer, that'll tell you how long it goes. And you can tell that we have our mask, and it looks like it's perfectly selected her and her clothing out. There may be a little bit of blur over here. We'll take a look. So let's go ahead and hit apply, and that's going to send this back to Photoshop. You do have some refinement tools, but this time we just want to see how everything looks. If this doesn't look any different to you at all, it's very simple. Take a look over here. You've got our background copy, and you've got our background. So basically, our original photo is still there. If we turn that off, then you can see where we've got the mask that came out. So if we want to go ahead and do something different with that, we could take a photograph like this one. Go ahead and say Command A to select all of it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to do paste. Gives me that friendly little warning. And now it's just a matter of putting this background in the right place, stretching it out. Command T so I can pull this up. Maybe pull it over just a little bit. That's a pretty quick replacement. I think we see that we've got a little bit of softness over here. And that's something, and also over here on our ear. So maybe those are things that we should have gone back and taken a look at inside of the tool. But as far as like a quick mask, just to put it in and out, I think that did a reasonably fast job. There's probably a little bit of touch-up work that you need to do. There are times you may still need to do some defringing. So for example, if you came over here to layer matting, you may need to do some defringing. You may need to move black or white pixelation around the edge. I don't think that's an issue with this one. So let's take a look at this one. Another thing that we can do is replace the sky. And I know that's all the rage these days. There are plenty of tools that will do that for you, but let's take a look and see how Topaz Mask AI does. So in this case, everything again is green. We're going to go over here to select the sky. The AI is going to work on that. It's going to detect the sky, and you can see again how it's everything over here in the sky is kind of got that red coating because we want to omit that. We've got our blue going along the edges of the mountaintop and green in the valley below. So I'm going to go ahead and say complete mask. And there we have our result. If you take a look over the side over here, you can see we've got a couple of sliders: edge hardness, strength, shift, foreground recovery, and defringe. There may be some times when you see some fringing, or if you need to change the edge, that you can move these around and kind of refine the mask that you're getting. I found in most cases it does a great job. Usually when I'm dealing with a portrait, that's when I find that I need to do a little bit of work over here. On a scene like this where everything is in focus, it's pretty easy to work off the contrast and make things work. If you have a portrait that isn't in focus all the way, so for example, if you have a shallow depth of field and maybe the face is in focus but the ears and behind start to fall off, that becomes a bit more tricky to put in place. And you also need to make sure that if you're going to put this subject on some other background, that it matches the amount of depth of field or bokeh that's on your subject itself. So we can take a look and we can see how we manage some of the background. We can blur some things out, but I don't think we need to do that in this case. I just simply want to go ahead and select this and say apply. So I'm going to turn off the background, and you can see that we've got really a nice sharp edge over here. And I'm going to go ahead and take this guy, say, copy everything. I'll bring it over here. I'm going to paste this in, and I'm going to bring it up a bit because I want to kind of match over here where we've got our background. So I'm hitting Command T to kind of stretch that out. And then I'm just going to bring this back down behind our background copy, and that is our new sky. That fits, I think, just as well as if we'd used the sky that was originally there. So if we turn off these, that's what our original was, and we've replaced that with this. So replacing a sky has suddenly become very easy with this tool, and it's just another option that you may have in your toolkit. I know I've used Luminar and I've used Photoshop tools to replace a sky. I think this one does a great and outstanding job. The difference is between this and some of the other tools is it doesn't come with a package of skies already. I think that's actually a smart thing, because if you end up using the skies that come with the tool, they're great for practice, but you don't want to put them out there because everybody will end up using the same skies. So it's good to go and get your own photographs of skies. If you don't want to take them yourself, there are plenty of vendors out who will sell packs of skies, and I think that's just kind of the better way to do it. But overall, as far as masking goes, this just makes masking very, very quick and easy. And I will probably do a couple other videos on this tool just so we can show some of the more tougher areas and how you can work with that with some of the sliders that we talked about. Right now, if you'd like to save a little bit of money, I've got a coupon code and a discount for this product. I will leave that in the description below. And we'll go ahead and play with this a little bit more, like I said, in some future videos. And if you like this video, please go ahead, click the like button. That tells YouTube we did something right. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you used other tools to replace a background or select a subject? And what do you think of those compared to Topaz Mask AI? I'd really love to know your thoughts. Thanks so much. We'll see you again in the next video.